I just finished a new project in the RV. It has to do with the air conditioning, and I'll do the best I can to talk you through it without getting, too much action videos, because I really don't have a lot, and it's kind of hard to document exactly what I did. But it all came down to air conditioning, and honestly, I did this because I heard it made it quieter, and one of my issues with the air conditioning system in this unit has always been the noise. If I was sitting in the front and my wife was sitting in the back and we had the air conditioner on, we always had to shout back and forth to hear each other. And it's all done, and I can tell you it is definitely quieter, and that is great. Now, is it gonna cool the cabin down quicker? I imagine, but I don't have any way to test that. So I'll just quickly take you through, the basics of it. When you remove the outer plastic cover, which is held on by 6 screws, you're going to see basically the plenum, and there is this metal outer framework that is held in place by 4 very long bolts. That's still in place in this picture. And we're looking at the upper part of the picture is the intake of warm air into the air conditioner. Towards the bottom of the picture is actually the output from the cold side of the air conditioner. So, the primary thing that we're after here is to reduce the bleed through between the cold and the warm side of this air conditioner plenum. And what you'll find, at least what I found on my metal pieces, you kind of see that white neoprene material that's, kind of wrapped around almost like in a semicircle. Well, there's actually a metal framework behind that. And that, that white rubber stuff is glued against that metal framework. The metal is part of the frame, so I wasn't going to go about trying to change that. I just worked with what was there. But when you pull those 4 long bolts, that whole metal framework is going to come out of there along with that partition. The electrical outlet is held in place on that frame by a simple tap screw. So if you remove that screw, that electrical outlet, will just kind of remain behind. It hangs on its wires. It's not a problem to just let it hang like that. So I removed that frame and then did some work, but I want to show you some things about what's going on inside before we go any further. For this next set of pictures, I'm going to put the camera right up inside that cold side of that plenum. Okay, here we are inside. Bottom is towards the floor, going up. We're actually in the ceiling, so looking upwards. That's actually a piece of ductwork. You see the ductwork is towards the bottom of the plenum, just above the ceiling material. You can see the bolt over on the left, so it shows that plenum is still in place. I was surprised to see that cold air gets into the ductwork both to the right and the left, but also to the rear of that plenum, looking to the rear of the RV. So here's what I'm going to try to accomplish. I'm going to put most of my effort on the cold side of this plenum. And what I'm trying to do is keep the cold air moving towards those ductwork vents and not let it come out through the bottom and not let it bleed over onto the input side, right? So I'm trying to seal it up and expedite flow into the ducts. And the net result of that should also be trying to quiet it down as well. Just want to quickly show you the supplies I grabbed for this project. I went to the Home Depot and got a 2-foot by 2-foot piece of this project foam board. It's $9. Also grabbed a roll of aluminum tape. I actually got this off Amazon. This has a paper backing on it that you can peel away, and then it's just, literally like an aluminum sheet of tape that is nice and sticky. You can use that. The other thing I bought was I heard it called double bubble. But basically, it's a reflective plastic on both sides, but there's bubble wrap in the middle, so it's kind of a little bit of insulation. Turns out I did not use a lot of this. I only really used a little bit of it, but you know, whether you want to use it or not is up to you. I didn't find a lot of places to put it. Inside the plenum, anywhere that I thought air could bleed around that ductwork, I put some aluminum tape on it to try to seal it up. On the cold side of the plenum, I used the foam board, the tape, and some of the double bubble to build up, I'll call it like ramps over a little mountain, right? I'm covering up that output side and I'm trying to force air into those ducts on all three sides. I made this cardboard pattern out of cardboard. Anyways, this was the perfect shape to make that one piece of foam board cutout that I used for my vent modification. Here's a couple more angles of it. But eventually I put almost like a little tent that would redirect the air coming down from above to the right and the left. And you can see how the output side of that plenum is now blocked off. I put some aluminum tape to try and tighten up around the input side of the plenum as well. Meanwhile, back on the inside of the plenum, I've used more foam board to build up and remove some of the dead space where air would just circle around. You can see that on the right and the left. And I'm trying to, again, move air into the ducts, both to the back of the RV, which is at the bottom of the picture, and to the right and the left. And you can see the fan up above, kind of the squirrel cage fan that pushes air down. That air is going to come down over my little mountain I built up on that framework once we put that inside and help expedite that air. And the fact that we've got all that additional insulation in there should really help quiet things down. Okay, so I have this plate. I don't know if you can see it. I have this plate mounted back again. Well, held with two screws there at the other end. And you can see that as I tilt this up, you know, should clear that and clear over here. Of course, as it goes up, you're never going to see it again. So this is, you know, about the best we can do with trying to make sure we're fitted correctly. You know, our visibility into here is gone now because we've blocked this off. But it looks to me like it's going to work. So I'm going to go ahead and get a couple more bolts in here and we'll see. All right, what I've done now is on the return side, I've taped this neoprene rubber cover, whatever you want to call it, up against the enclosure everywhere I can, trying to seal up any leaks I can. And you saw before, I had taped it down here to the frame before I ever put that back in place. I have the air conditioning running now. It does sound to me like it's quieter. But what's interesting, I noticed I was up here, there's a screw hole right here where the cover goes in. And I can actually feel air, cold air coming out of there. It's even over here. That's fascinating. That is right here. Oh my gosh. It's pouring out of this hole. So I'll put some tape over here. The cover gets screwed in here. But that's fascinating. Just that little hole. Air blowing out of there. So I'll put some tape on that one too. Well, there you have it. Both my wife and I are very happy with the results of this little project. It's definitely quieter, and I have a feeling it's going to cool down quicker. So it was well worth the time and effort I put into it. I hope you found that useful. You take care now.